right. So what we're going to do to make these different, I'm glad you guys to be in the habit of writing these out like a two-column proof. So we have statement and justification. We always start off with what our known quantities are. This is the equivalent when we did the airline activity, mini activity really because it was so short. We put these itineraries together saying, look, we're going to start in Chicago. Now we're going to fly out of there and go somewhere. So in writing a two-column proof, be it algebraic, be it geometric, we start off with the given, the assumed statement. We talked about this idea that if you assume something to be true and then you know the next point is true, P leads to Q, you can then conclude that Q is true. So if I say P is true, and I know P leads to Q, I can conclude that Q is true. And that's the same concept we're using here. What can I do with this algebraically to solve for n? That's ultimately where I need to get. Chris?
You could divide by 2.
That's going to give me fractions. Let's distribute. I don't want to do fractions. Plus, I think you're going to get outvoted. We could, though. We could just divide by 2. I like the distribute, though. And if this was an even number, I'd be totally on board with you. Justification, distributive property. Now from there, now what can I do? Subtract? What am I subtracting? 6n from both sides? Okay. And that leaves me 14 equals negative n. And then what rule lets me do that? Subtraction property of equality. That's about as abbreviated as I'm comfortable with you guys getting. I have had some students over the years that will literally write SPOE, and I'm supposed to know what they meant by that. Yes, spoke. That don't do that. Some teachers will let you get away with, instead of writing all of this out, just calling it the PO. And that I can handle. I prefer a little more writing until you feel comfortable with things. If you over abbreviate early, you're going to forget all the rules. Am I finished? Yeah, I got to divide by -1 to truly get the n by itself. And that now leaves me -14 is equal to n. And that was by the division property of equality. And now that's what I set out to do, right? To show that I could take this to this. That was my objective. QED. That means I'm finished.